Well, hello, and welcome to Preparing to Survive and Thrive Homesteading channel with Charlie B. So, what are we doing today? Well, I'm actually going to make this video on Tuesday, the 4th of April, to go out on Wednesday, the 5th of April, because that is when, what happens on Wednesday? Your call to action. I have decided to start doing these on Tuesdays so I don't have to feel like I'm rushed on Wednesday to get them out before noon on Wednesday. So if I make them today, I get them edited and everything, and then I can get them scheduled to go out at like 10 o'clock on Wednesday. So I've learned how to do that. I'm working on that. But what are we up to today? So my question is, what are you doing to prepare yourself to be more sustainable in the future? And not just sustain yourself, but to also survive and thrive. That's what we want to do. We want to thrive. We don't just want to survive. Now, I do realize that surviving is what we have to do before we can thrive. So I guess our little talk today, other than me asking you what you're doing, is what type of mindset do you have? Do you have a negative mindset or a positive mindset? And I made notes, so here we go. Excuse me, I got to get my hair out of my face again. So positive versus negative mindset. A positive mindset, you're up and moving. You are getting things done. You are not overwhelmed. When it comes to preparing for the future, and you're grateful for what you have. Okay, so that's pretty much a good positive mindset, and that can actually be used for any type and part of your life if you actually sit back and think about it. So now, what is negative mindset? Well, in my opinion, there are different levels of a negative mindset. I'm going to say my first level is when things are just starting to kind of go down the hill, and it could actually start with you just stubbing your toe in the morning and things just kind of spiral right down the road, and you really end up in a negative attitude and your brain is just fried. So that's kind of my first level. It's kind of like you're stressing, you're starting to get a little overwhelmed, but you're still working towards your goals. Even though you bump that toe and you may be a little, okay, you're still working towards your goals. So that is the start of it. Now, sometimes that can just, you can wake up the next morning and be totally over it and you're good to go again. And then there is when you start, the next level of negativity is when you start to get overwhelmed. You're putting what needs to be done today, you're pushing it off, you're just kind of like ignoring it, and you're pushing it back to tomorrow or in the future. Now, what do you do to stop that? Well, let's go into the other one that's kind of what I consider the final, and you're really stuck in a negative mindset and you've got to do something to really pull yourself out, or you're going to just really get completely done, and it's going to take you a long time to climb out of this negative mindset. When you get totally overwhelmed and you are ignoring the situation, you're finding excuses, you're finding other things to do, you're completely and totally not working on your preps or working on something that needs to be done in order to make yourself more sustainable in the future, or to make you happier in the future, which would definitely make yourself more sustainable in the future. So you start letting things pile up. Things get out of hand. You don't know where to begin. You just kind of look at things. You're like a deer in the headlights, which brings me to the next one. You're frozen in fear. You cannot complete a task or even think about a task at hand. You just stand there. Again, the deer in the headlights, not knowing what to do. So, how do we solve this issue and this problem when you're that far gone? Well, this can help you with every stage of a negative mindset. And it kind of goes back up to the positive mindset. First off, what you want to do is you want to take a deep breath. Maybe even close your eyes and take a deep breath. And then think of something that you're grateful for. It could be that you're still alive today, that you have a husband and you have a roof over your head. It could be something simple as that. Your electricity is still on. And if those things are not happening, look at a picture of something that makes you smile. Maybe a baby laughing, watching a funny video. Now, don't sit there and watch videos all day and make yourself laugh, because the next day you're going to wake up and be overwhelmed and be frozen in fear again. So watch 1 or 2 videos, or watch a couple, look at some pictures, or sit down and pet your cat or your dog or your horse. Do something that makes you happy for a half hour, 45 minutes to an hour, and then take another deep breath and go, okay, so what do I have to do? What's my first thing I need to do? What we want to do is we want to determine what needs first done, and then break that down in little chunks, little pieces, so you can get them completed, and then you can literally move on to the next step, and the next step, and the next step, until you're sitting there looking at all this stuff that you have done and go, wow, I'm really grateful I took a moment and I'm no longer overwhelmed. Now, this may not happen in just one day. It may take you a week to get out of the negative mindset, but every time you do a little something each day, it helps pull you up and pull you up and pull you up until you hit the positive mindset again. One thing to remember, always take time out every single day and think of what you have to be grateful for. Because there's a lot of people that are not in the same shape you are or I am, that are a lot more stressed, and they have no idea where to even begin, because nobody's helped them and told them and pulled them along in order to make them happier, healthier, and able to survive your future and make it so you can thrive. Okay, so that's my little spiel on negative and positive mindsets and how you can escape them. So I did say last week I was going to talk about rice and how to use it, when to use it, mainly when to use it. So, and what different types are. So let me get some rice and I'll be right back. Well, I've got some rice sitting around here, but before we get into the rice, I almost forgot. I want to know what you're doing. Please leave me a comment on what you're doing to make yourself more prepared for the future. And what I've been doing is I've been working on some fencing and cleaning out my garden and cleaning up my orchard some, and cleaning up my house to try to get myself a little bit more organized. And especially with Easter coming, yeah, I need to get more things put away and focus a little bit on that. I've also been working more hours at my part-time job since tax season is here. But I wish I could say I can something, but I didn't. I just didn't have time. I really wanted to. And I don't know if I'm going to make it this week or even next week until tax season's over. But we're going to go. We're going to try, and we're going to keep pushing. Okay, we're going to get something done every day, at least one thing. All right, so now let's get to the rice. I have several different types of rice sitting here. And I'm going to actually bring you down so you can see the different types of rice. Hang on, let me stop this again. All right, so now some rice. We have different kinds of rice here. Different levels of cookedness, if that's a word, probably isn't, but or how they are boxed or how they are stored. And we're going to determine, or at least how I would eat them if I had to meal plan for the next 90 days and everything was about to expire sooner, all at the same time, okay? And maybe they were even a year out of date, which you can eat rice for much longer than a year out of date. But what I will tell you is the first one I would eat would be this one. This is my, it's actually already cooked, completely cooked in here. It cooks, you stick it in the microwave for 90 seconds and it's ready to eat. This is the quinoa and brown rice. You can also get this in just like plain jasmine rice, maybe not from Seeds of Change, but from different ones. So this is the one I would eat next, or what I would eat first. The second one, I'm going to move this aside. The second one is a minute rice. Now this, so as I was saying, our next item would be the minute rice. Now this one cooks in 5 minutes. Okay, you can leave this guy open. I would definitely put it in a Ziploc baggie if you do open this, and to make sure to maybe prevent some bugs of getting in it, weevils or moths or anything else like that. Our next item is the success rice. Now this does cook in 10 minutes and it is separated in bags. Let me show you. I do like this because it does really well. It's easier for me sometimes to just pull them out and throw them in. But this is kind of the bags. I think it's 2 cups. I just follow the directions, how I would normally do it, and prepare it. Okay, so the next item is this rice-a-roni, rice pilaf. I'm sure there's different companies that make this, but this has rice and pasta and different things like this, but it takes a good 20 minutes to cook, so it hasn't been that dried and different things like that. Plus, the rice and the packet are normally separated. So this is what I would eat next on the list. Okay, the next item is, now this guy, you can pack it away and it will last you forever and a day. Okay, just keep it in either Mylar bags or those big plastic pails with the gammy lids. If I said those lids correctly, it's normally how I keep these guys. And you can portion it out, re-zip it in a Ziploc bag, and you put it back in your stores for later. The next item is rice that I freeze. Well, my camera cut out while I was talking. So, what I was saying is, this is the rice that I freeze-dried myself. So I know there's no fats in it, there's no herbs or nothing. The only thing this was cooked in was some beef broth. There's no fat in it. So this should last me, hopefully, in this bag, if I wanted to, 25 years. But it's already cooked. So all we'll do is take some water for me to hydrate it, some hot water. Okay, so those are my thoughts on what I would eat first. If I had to do a meal prep in 90 days and everything was expired at the same time, how I would go about eating them. Also, if you have to choose one thing and you don't have a freeze dryer that you want to put in your stores to last the longest, it would be just a plain bag of rice and put it in something to make sure it will stay without air longer and with less air getting to it. All right, so that's my thoughts, and I'm going to shut this off, and I'm going to bring you back up so you can see my face again. Well, that's my thoughts on rice. And one thing I did forget to tell you, I have been foraging. I picked some purple dead nettles and made some tea to help get rid of some inflammation and help with my allergies. And I'm about ready to sip another cup of that, but I think it's kind of warm today, so I'm going to make it into an iced tea. So, but remember, if you like my content, like, share, and subscribe, and leave a comment. Tell me what you're up to, what you are doing, and your thoughts on rice, if you agree with me or disagree with me. There's no right answer or no wrong answer. It's what you think and how you would use your preps and your stores. So, remember, like, share, and subscribe. Charlie B, signing out.